Hey everybody, we're Geeking Out Ninjas, and we're here to geek out. Craig, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Jeremiah. Ready
Awesome.
to talk about a lot of fun things. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today. Well, we do every day or every time we talk.
We do.
I mean, we just jam pack this episode with as much as we can.
Why not?
Hey, it's a lot of fun. So, what's going on? What's new with you?
So Google Fiber, just a continuing update on that.
Yeah, how's that going?
Everything's going good. Uh, Speeds are what I would expect from Google Fiber. I actually am I just got a new firewall slash
Mm-hmm.
router for my house that I'm excited
Uh-huh.
about. It's made by a company called Firewalla.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Uh, and it has a bunch of cool features in the firewall that I'm really excited to work out. So some things such as being able to block ads on a network level. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, this will let you know where your traffic is going, what kind of traffic you're getting, and um, just a lot of cool things. I'll talk about it more on a future episode because I haven't got it installed yet.
Okay.
It literally just came today, but I'm super excited to try it out and see. Maybe it'll make my internet even better. Who knows?
All right. Very nice. Very nice. Can I say something? Look,
Yes.
since we're talking about internet, so so I get home, I got to reboot my modem and my Wi-Fi router, and my cat was sitting on my Wi-Fi router, just
What?
staring at me. It's upstairs, so I don't see it. I don't go up there. It's like too much to go up there. But I
Yeah.
go up there, and she's just looking at me. I'm like, get off the router. To then, my kids hear me yell, and they're like, oh, she always sits on that.
What?
Get her off. Get her off my
She
router.
always sits on that.
Well, she doesn't understand English. If you tell her move, she'll move. She's on my router.
Oh my goodness.
That's terrible. That's probably why my Wi-Fi drops at certain times because her big butt is on that router, just
Squishing all the Wi-Fi's.
squishing the Wi-Fi. I'm like, get off. I guess it's warm. I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyways, that's what I found out today.
Yeah.
My cat sits on my
Interesting
router
revelation.
because I have so it's upstairs and it's on like this what I guess it's like a TV stand
Yeah.
type thing since we don't have a TV up there. I don't know. Anyways,
Hey,
just
you
was
got to put it
shocking
where you got to
today.
put it.
It was shocking. I was just not happy with my cat. That was like 15 minutes ago. Not happy. How often does she sit on it? She sits on my Wi-Fi. Come on,
Come
get off.
on. Get off the Wi-Fi's.
Anyways,
You have to
sorry.
put like a cage around it or something.
Yeah. Well, my wife said, "Well, can you move it higher?" She's gonna jump up there and get on it. She's a cat.
Cats do cat things.
They do. They do. Sorry, I just had the vent about my cat. It's terrible. So, has everything switched to the Google Fiber?
Yeah, everything's been switched over for a while.
Okay.
So yeah, everything's still going really good. I've gotten a bunch of emails from AT&T like, "Hey, we're sorry you're leaving. Do you want to come back?"
Oh,
Like,
so
no,
sad.
sorry, AT&T, you had your chance. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
It's not me, it's
Well,
you.
well, they weren't a bad internet provider, right?
No, they weren't a bad internet provider. I'm just talking about the company in general.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's okay. That's all right. Now, it looks like on the notes here, you also got a new ceiling fan.
I did get a new ceiling fan. Yeah.
Why is that something new? Is there something special about it?
So Uh, I mean, it is nice. It is nice to have a new ceiling fan. It's got all LEDs and all that stuff, so it's really bright in the room. And it was the smallest motor housing I've ever seen for a ceiling fan. Like it was literally like the size of my hands in a circle. No joke. That was the housing for the motor. I was like, holy moly, like this is freaking
Wow.
tiny. Um, but and it's probably the coolest, like as in not like it's just really cool, but like the coldness in my office is it's so much cooler in here now with the ceiling fan.
Really?
Yeah, it blows so much harder. Um, it's kind of insane how how cool it is in here. Uh, that's not why I wanted to talk about it, but so I
I'm
have
sorry.
yeah, I have smart home stuff in my house, right? So
Right.
uh
Yeah.
I have smart light switches and smart ceiling fan switches. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and that's how I normally control everything. This is why wanted to talk about it. But this ceiling fan so far uh, only lets me hook it up to their special um, receiver. So it's got this.
Like a Philips Hue, like they have their own receiver type thing.
Yeah, so they've got this remote that's Bluetooth, but then they have it actually broadcasts its own Wi-Fi for you to connect to it and then set it up to connect to your Wi-Fi. Um, and I mean that's all fine and dandy. I kind of didn't want to use the receiver at all though, because I just wanted to use the stuff that I already have that I know works and it's good to go, and I know it's not going to lead to someone hacking into my network.
Right.
Because you have to worry about all this stuff with these Wi-Fi enabled devices. Like, is this secure? They're never going to release updates for this thing, so obviously at some point there's going to be a vulnerability in my fan
Right. Right.
that's going to lead to the possibility of someone hacking into my network, which then leads them getting into whatever they want that's connected to my network. Uh, so I submitted a help ticket with them. I was like, hey, is there a way to like wire this to where I don't have to use the receiver? Because I don't want to do it. Like
Right.
I'm doing it right now because that's the only way it'll turn on. Um,
Interesting.
but I don't want it to be that way. I want my two separate switches on the wall to do the light and the fan.
Right.
I want to be
Right.
able to, I can control this with like my Google Home and all that stuff like I normally would, but I don't want to use their thing. I want to use my thing.
Yeah.
I feel
So
like
you're
it's
just
kind of
waiting on them
annoying.
to get back to you? Is that all?
I'm waiting
Like,
for them to get back to me to hopefully let me know, hey, you just have to wire it up this way. Because I wired it up the way I normally wire up a ceiling fan with like a receiver.
right.
It did not work.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I was kind of annoyed with it.
But it makes your room cooler.
It does make it cooler and it is brighter in here. So there is the bonus of that, which, was the reason why I bought the fan,
Right.
but I want to do things my way.
Does it have like, is it still only got the three speeds, like low, medium, and high?
No, this one has 6 speeds.
Ooh.
I don't need 6 speeds though.
Yeah.
I'm not here. I'm one of those people who leaves it on high. Like I
Yeah.
never really mess with it unless I'm just really cold.
True.
Um, so for them to have this like whole remote with it's like it beeps every time you like change the I don't know if you can hear that chirp every time you
Yeah.
change the level. The fan beeps to let you know, hey, I've changed what setting I'm on. I don't really need it. Just let me do my thing with my wall switches, please.
Just on and off, right?
Yeah, on off. Let's do the basics. Let's get those down, and then the fancy stuff can come later.
Very nice. Very nice.
Jeremiah, are you possibly using your podcast microphone, or are you using a different microphone?
Are you having trouble hearing me?
No, you sound very different than normal.
Do I have a different voice?
No, no, that sounds normal. I would have told you about that. That's a story for y'all that y'all never get to hear. So sometimes when Jeremiah gets on these calls with me, his son has installed a voice changer on the computer that makes him sound like he's got what's that heaviest gas in the planet that people always seem to suck out of balloons?
Helium?
No, that's a
That's the
light gas.
lightest.
That's why it
Yeah.
makes you, yeah, that's why that makes you have a
I get
higher
a
voice.
I get a deep voice, like Barry White.
Yeah.
I don't know what gas that would be.
I know.
I failed
Sulfur
chemistry.
hexafluoride.
People really inhale that?
Yeah. So yeah, it kind of makes you sound. I don't even know how to describe it. If you've never heard someone suck not helium, sulfur hexafluoride out of a balloon, that makes their voice sound so deep. It's almost like they're talking in slow motion, but deeper than that. It's kind of a strange. That's what he sounds like sometimes when he gets on our calls before before we start recording, and it takes forever for him to remember how to change it.
Yes, it does.
It's quite
Yes, it does.
hilarious every single time.
I was looking for it to see if I could turn it on, but I don't know that I can.
It's probably best not to, but
Probably not. I'll turn
I'm
it off.
I'm just always I'm always laughing so hard whenever it comes on.
He does, because I don't have a clue. I just
Yeah.
start talking. Yeah, I'm
But
going to remove that.
are you using your podcast mic or is it using your webcam microphone?
No, it's my podcast mic.
Okay. It just sounds different.
I've
What's new with you,
using that
Jim?
quite a bit. Well, I started my job this week, my new job.
Yeah.
So it's been a good week. It's always the transition for me is always the hardest part. Like, you got to go through different orientations and you got to learn your job, right?
Yeah.
And so that's to me like the worst part of starting something with a new company. But we are set as far as I know tomorrow morning. Which is I'm working California time because I'm working for a company out of California. So it's actually a little bit nice to sleep in a little bit.
Yeah.
I do like that. I don't know that I like working till 7:00 at night our time, but whatever.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of an adjustment. I've learned a little bit about the company. I've learned a little bit about what I'm doing, but I go live tomorrow. Like I take over someone else was doing this job, kind of.
Yeah.
And then I'm taking it from them. And it's kind of been like someone else's kind of like second job in a sense, like they're just doing it because probably they're the lowest person on the totem pole. like you're stuck with doing this as part of your other job requirements. So
right.
It's pretty cool that I'll be kind of creating this job position for eventually giving it up to someone that works for the company that we're consulting for. So it's pretty neat, pretty cool. I'm just ready to get started. I don't like this period of not doing my job. So I have learned that the desk chair that I currently have, now that I'll be working from home, that's what I'm doing now. Working from home, 24/7. I'm using the mic a lot, got the camera, but I have learned that my desk chair is terrible. Terrible.
Bum, bum, bum.
It's cheap. I bought it online. I bought it from like Office Max or whatever. I think it was on sale.
Yeah. You never think
Whatever.
You're going to have to be in your office chair that long. So it's just like, why spend the money?
So I did go out this evening before we got on the podcast looking for they used to like the purple cushion.
Oh,
you could get one of those and put them on the seat. But I went to 3 different stores and nobody had these at the store. I mean, I can order it on Amazon easy.
No problem. I'm like, surely you can still buy it online.
Yeah, but I wanted to go and test a couple out, which one is really going to work.
Put the old butt to the test.
Precisely. Nobody carries it. So, well, I take that back. I didn't go to an office. I didn't go to an Office Max or a Staples. Did you know the Staples over here closed? Anyways, there used to be a Staples near us, and then it's not there anymore. It's a Specs.
Dun, dun, dun. Everybody needs their booze, apparently.
I know. I should have just gone in and bought booze.
That's what happens when the pandemic hits. People start drinking instead of working. So
that is so weird. Anyways, yes. So I haven't gotten a cushion yet. So I'll probably have to get one this weekend. Or I did sit in a couple of chairs.
Oh, you're going to go really full upgrade of the chair?
I am. Probably. I was just going to get a cushion for a temporary fix, but I did sit in a chair that I really, really liked.
Yeah.
It was very nice. And it was a lazy boy office chair.
Oh.
So if anybody that listens to our podcast is from Lazy Boy, I would love to try one out. So if you're listening, you can send me one. But it was very comfortable.
You'll put your chair to the butt test.
Yes, yes. So which kind of, just we are willing to try things out for this show. So again, just doing a little bit of selling there. I can sell any product that you want. Just let me know.
Just let Jeremiah know.
I will test it.
He'll sell his soul for that chair.
I will. So, but that's all that's new with me. Just learning a new job, getting set up with that.
So
And
I have a special surprise that Jeremiah doesn't know about.
Yeah, you told me right before we went on the air.
I know that's the best. That's the best time to tell you there's a surprise coming.
Yeah, because then I would have been bothering you the whole time before we started.
Yeah. So I had someone from work come by. So I work at a company that can print pretty much anything that you want to. Don't want to give the name away, just cause. But I told someone that works there about the podcast, and she's listened to a few of the podcasts, and so I think she then told someone else about the podcast, and it may or may not. She may or may not have told the person that runs the print shop that prints things. So she came by today and she printed out this Geeking Out Ninjas shirt.
What?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
That is cool.
So I was pretty excited about that.
That is sweet.
So give a shout out to Cindy and Brianna.
Oh, Cindy and Brianna, that is very cool. I think we may have to set up a shop.
There you go.
And we need to get it out to the streets and let people know that we're out there.
Yeah. We may have to get more people listening first.
Well, I think that's part of it. Like if they get a shirt, they'll listen.
Right? That's true. That's true.
And you can walk down the street and be like, what is that shirt?
What are those guys wearing?
Oh, that was cool looking. I like that. So if you're listening on the podcast, then you need to shoot over to our YouTube channel. And actually, I think we should put a video up of you wearing it, Craig.
There you go.
On the YouTube channel, just so you could like walk down your hallway like you're kind of having a fashion show.
Sure. I have those all the time in my house.
I know. Well, I'm sure you do. You've got three children that love fashion shows, I'm sure.
Well, we're not really there, but I'm sure someday we will.
Oh yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
My wife likes fashion shows more than my daughters do at this point.
Well, I'll say this, and my son probably doesn't want me to. My girls would like to dress. They like to dress him up.
Oh yeah,
fashion show. That was.
I, as the youngest of three children with two older sisters, am very aware and very familiar with the being dressed up aspect of being a younger brother.
That yes, you're exactly in his position. So
I am.
You two need to hang out and
commiserate
stories. Yeah.
So I have one story that I'll tell it real briefly. So I think I was under 7. That's all I know. I don't know how old I was precisely, but between the ages of 4 and 7, I think I was dressed up in a dress, and we used to have stairs to a loft, but these stairs, they were open underneath. She could go underneath them.
Uh-huh.
And my grandma was babysitting. She didn't really get out of her chair when she babysat, so she had fun ways of corralling us when we wouldn't behave. I won't get into all that stuff, but my sisters were chasing me around while I was wearing this dress, and we were running underneath the stairs, and I think I hit my head on the stairs.
Ooh.
Yeah, and got knocked out. Yeah.
Whoa.
So being a younger brother is very difficult sometimes.
So are you blaming that on the dress wearing? Like, is that the last time you wore a dress because you got knocked out?
No, I still wear dresses all the time.
Just checking.
Yeah, no.
Just checking on that.
I honestly couldn't tell you if that was the last time I wore a dress or not. My memory has never been the same since then. Who knows? Maybe I'm a sleepwalker that dresses and dresses. Who knows?
Who knows?
Anything's
Well, I'm
possible.
sure your wife would know. Your wife and your kids probably would know.
Yeah, but I don't know if they'd tell me.
Oof. Yeah. I agree with that.
Anyways, on to the pre-cap, which I feel like I haven't really done a pre-cap in a while.
No, you haven't.
Is your VR headset giving you rashes and hives? Are you looking for a rugged smartphone? Are you looking for a modular laptop? And are you looking for your right to repair your equipment? All coming up on this episode of Geeking Out Ninjas.
I like that. Should we start the show with that? Like, really start before we even getting into it.
Maybe we should.
You did that so well. We need to kind of rearrange that and make that happen. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And remember, you can catch us on wherever you listen to podcasts, or if you're watching on our YouTube channel, welcome. We're really looking to grow this. So we really want you to share it with your friends, let people know that you listen and where you listen. And please let us know that you're listening. Comment, send us a text, an email, a Facebook comment, anything. Let us know that you're out there, what you like and what you don't like, because we can make it happen.
We want to know. Also, check us out at geekingoutninjas.com. And you can find a whole bunch of stuff there. We'll be adding more things soon.
Yeah. I think we got.
We have little bios about. Yeah, we have little bios about ourselves, and then it's an easy place to find our podcasts on YouTube and any other, not streaming service, any podcast service. So.
Who knows? We'll be on a streaming service soon.
Yeah, who knows? Geekingoutninjas.com. Place for all things ninjas. But not really ninjas. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about this VR face.
Yeah. I'm going to let you lead with this since you have one of these.
Well, and I haven't experienced this, but anyways, the article talks about how Facebook is recalling 4 million Quest 2 VR face liners because people are complaining about rashes and hives. And, personally, using the Quest 2, I haven't gotten a rash or anything. I do get, the mark around, of the face liner. I get it around because I'm on it for however long.
The VR mark.
And my wife makes fun of me.
Oh,
because I guess I look like a young person trying to do that. But
everybody looks weird coming out of VR.
It's just the way it is. It's fine.
The way it is.
But apparently, see, I didn't have a Quest 1, so I've never wore that or any other VR goggles. Except I did try the big plastic ones, like you put your phone in, which are garbage anyways.
Yeah.
But apparently they tried to save, Facebook tried to save money from the Quest 1 to Quest 2, changing the type of fabric.
Yeah, they went from a fabric to a silicone liner,
like a foam.
Yeah.
I like it.
I think my PlayStation VR also has like a silicone liner of some kind. It's not the same way that yours is because mine doesn't cover the bottom so much. So it's mainly like on my forehead area. And my forehead actually gets really warm. Like uncomfortably warm sometimes if I wear it for too long. So I could see how this would cause some sort of irritation in people.
Yeah.
Especially, who knows? They could be allergic to silicone. That
Well,
seems
that's
like
true.
it seems like a material that would not be great for a consumer product just based on an allergy to silicone. I mean, I feel like a fabric allergy seems a whole lot less likely.
Well, and I'll say that the thing I don't like about the foam feeling type liner, it seems as though it kind of absorbs sweat.
Yeah.
And I guess fabric would probably do the same. But they sell these silicone type protectors that you can kind of put over it,
Yeah.
and you can put one over the foam part, and it's more of a like a not a foamy type thing. It's like a plastic silicone that it's smooth, but it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
I tried it because of my son likes to play the games that you kind of move around and swing at things, and he likes bar fight. Is it called bar fight?
I have no idea.
Like he plays one that you get into bar fights.
Hey,
And
got to
you
get
beat
that
people up.
experience.
And if the more beer you drink, the
Blurrier
less.
your enemy is.
Yeah, exactly. So it's quite hilarious. He loves playing that game. But anyways, he likes to move with it, and he gets all warm and hot and sweaty because he's moving. I don't know, like I don't feel the heat, and like I said, I've never gotten a rash or anything, so it doesn't bother me necessarily.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess people are wimpy and get frustrated with it, I guess, and want it switched out. But whatever.
I mean, they had 5,716 reports of skin irritation, along with 45 reports of consumers that required medical attention. So they actually, besides doing a recall on all 4 million, they also paused sales in North America. So uh, Facebook's taking it pretty seriously. I'm sure they don't want a huge lawsuit on their hands. This is probably their
I
way
didn't
of.
I didn't get a notice that they were having a recall.
Well, well, well.
Maybe I should check. I didn't get an email about it.
Awkward.
I know. I have to find out through this article. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's weird. But yeah. So if you have a Quest 2, check for that recall notice, just like Jeremiah is
Definitely.
doing right now.
Yes.
Okay, so I always love to talk about electrification of everything. So this one seemed definitely right up my alley. Um, so a company named, I'm going to say Joby. It's Joby.
I think
Um,
so.
Otherwise, that sounds weird to say Jobby without another
Yeah, I think
B.
it's Joby.
Joby Aviation is working on an electric air taxi that has completed a 150-mile flight. So it does VTOL takeoff, which is vertical takeoff and landing. Um, it's got 6 rotors, so 6 blades on it that kind of rotate from when it's taking off, they're, I guess, parallel to the ground, and when it's flying, they're perpendicular to the ground. 150 miles might not seem like it's that far, but it's fully electric,
Right.
which the density of batteries and the weight of batteries definitely affects the range of an electric aircraft. But I think the fact that there are companies that are working on electric aircrafts, I think, is a um, pretty huge thing to talk about. Just the fact that everybody's looking for alternative ways to power vehicles that are hopefully reducing CO2 emissions. And so this would essentially be a zero emission aircraft. Obviously, it's got to get its power from somewhere. But you can also do that in a emissionless manner as well, depending on how you power your grid. But um, uh, they're talking about, flights from San Francisco to Lake Tahoe, Houston to Austin, Los Angeles to San Diego. Um, so I think obviously this will probably stay in the super rich people category for a while, just like I feel like all electrification Ventures do at first.
Right. Well,
But it's a start.
I think this article though is a little, I don't know. It didn't fly really between 2 points.
No, it didn't. It didn't fly between 2 points, but they demonstrated that they flew 150 miles. They circled. They had a 14-mile circle that they went around 11 times for an hour and 17 minutes.
17 minutes. Yeah.
So I'm sure they probably need more FAA clearance to go from point A to point B somewhere 150 miles away. And I bet this was probably a lot easier to do just to fly in a small area than to fly from one city to another.
Right. Well, it doesn't go into too many, like who flew it, how high did they go? These I understand they're just trying to get in the game and talk about electricity and flying, but
what do you mean who flew it? One of Joby's pilots flew it.
Like what kind of pilot? Like is he a helicopter pilot? I guess that would be a helicopter pilot, but like was he any good? I mean
he made it. He didn't die.
He didn't die.
I'm sure there's probably a lot. Here's how aircrafts work nowadays. A lot of it is autonomous. Once you're in the air, autopilot pretty much flies for you at this point, unless there's an emergency situation or the pilot's just so bored that they have to take over.
Yes, that's kind of scary.
You fly anytime you fly.
I've never flown.
The pilot's not flying. They even like takeoff and landing a lot of times is done by.
It shouldn't be.
It should.
It should be done by a person.
No, they've been doing it forever. The only time a person ever takes over is if there are extreme weather conditions, and then the person's usually the one who lands it, just because they know how to deal with all the weird edge case scenarios. I actually have someone that we probably both know that I'm not going to mention their name.
I don't know if I know them.
She actually flies still. She's I think she flies for I think she flies for like a regional carrier right now, but
I don't know this person.
You do. I just don't want to say their name.
Okay, I get that. I'm just telling you, I don't know who they are.
But yeah, I mean, I've been to her house a few times, and she's as I'm working on computers and things for her, I'm like asking her questions like, "Hey, what does this do? What does this do? Like, how do you do this?" And it's insane how much of it is automated at this point.
Well, and that's funny because I have the other aspect of it. My father-in-law is he was a Air Force pilot instructor.
Yeah.
And so I know it's
a little bit different than commercial.
Yeah, it's different from commercial. They have to do everything, and they always have to be, because he didn't necessarily train them for combat. He basically was training them how to fly.
Sure.
Which would eventually lead to, fighter jets or whatever. But I just and what's interesting, I don't fly anywhere, so I don't even know what it's like really. I think I've been in an airplane once, and that was like 30 years ago. I flew from San Antonio to Dallas. It was like not even a real flight. It was like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But I've never flown. So I really have no idea what I'm talking about when I say, was it a good pilot or not? But I hear his stories.
Sure.
And so every time he tells me when someone dies, what they did wrong, he's very good about telling me.
Good to know.
It could have been prevented very easily, apparently, according to him.
Could have been prevented. So I think I think the big thing about this is it's a start. It's probably not enough to really be a huge deal now. But as battery technology gets better, and it's getting better all the time because you have so many companies working on it at this point that are trying to improve capacity for batteries, because they all have a stake in making cars go longer or making the grid stay up longer. So I think it's a good start. They're not the only company doing it, but it's it's another step in the right direction. I actually saw, and I didn't bring this article for our news, but there's a company doing the same thing for boats, and I don't think they're the only company electrifying boats, but that one seems like it's kind of the next frontier as well. It seems like everything now that cars have kind of been breached, it's like, okay, what else can we electrify?
Which is great, which I do like.
Well, I mean, the great thing about electrifying vehicles in general is that the maintenance is next to non-existent,
Right.
which is super fantastic. Like, I have really never had to get maintenance on my car except for like rotating the tires.
Mhm.
It's the motors just last forever and you don't have to do anything to them. So I think for a boat owner, that would be like
Oh
insanely
yeah.
fantastic, because I always hear people with boats are always, oh, it's in the shop. I've got to, do this and that. And it's
Is
always
that due to the
something to worry
motor, or is
about.
that just due to the boat?
It's the motor. The motors are always needing service and maintenance.
I don't have any friends with boats. Obviously we don't hang out with the same group of people.
I don't
I
have
don't
any,
the
I don't
pilot.
have any friends with boats either.
Okay. All right.
I don't hang out with those cool people.
Yeah.
But yeah, the people I've talked to though,
Okay. Okay. People you've talked to.
people I talk to, I got people.
You got people.
I got people.
You got good people. You got good people. They give you T-shirts.
They
That's
do
awesome.
give me t-shirts.
So the next article, I feel like we should go to the Tesla one since we're talking electric.
Now we got to break it up.
All right. All right. So then we'll talk about the rugged Nokia XR20, a rugged phone with 5G connectivity that goes on sale actually it goes on sale in August. It looks like a pretty good price,
Yeah.
$549.
Yeah.
Especially being a rugged phone, that's actually a really good price
I think,
for a
yeah.
phone.
So it's IP68 rated, which means it can withstand submersion up to like 5 feet of water for an hour, and it's dust resistant, it's like sand resistant and stuff like that. Also withstands temperatures 131 degrees Fahrenheit down to negative 7.6 degrees Fahrenheit,
That's crazy.
and protection against drops from 6 feet. I feel like
Gorilla Glass.
Victus, it's their latest and greatest Gorilla Glass. It also has support for 3 years of OS updates, which actually OS upgrades. Sorry, 4 years of security updates, which you don't see in a lot of Android phones. I feel like, so that's nice to see. But what's to me what's interesting about this is it almost feels like Nokia is going back to their roots. Like you could almost have you remember those like candy bar style Nokia phones where it was like
Mhm.
you could do anything to that. You could use it as a
Yes.
hammer and it would break other things. Sort of that's the
Right.
meme. Um, but it's like the Nokia phones are just super rugged phones, and it's cool to see that they're trying to get back into that market where it's like, hey, we still have really rugged devices. Something that people always think of when they think of Nokia phones. At least they used to.
Well, I think it's a good move. I think rugged phones, we don't see a whole lot of them. Actually, a buddy of mine has a Caterpillar
Yeah.
rugged phone, and like he was banging the glass against the countertop. He's in construction, and he was showing me, look how rugged this is, and he was banging it, and I was like, dang, dude, you're gonna break that. But sure enough, I mean, it's it's for what he does,
Yeah.
doing things that with different construction stuff. I mean, it works. It's been great for him because he had another phone and it broke pretty easily, and so it was cracked for a while. But he told me he had to buy it like from out of like I guess that he didn't have one available within the states. He had to buy it the certain model outside and have it shipped to him, and then I guess it was I forget the term when it's open to any unlocked. Is that
Unlocked. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But now he loves it. He loves the phone. It seems to work pretty good for him. So
Cool.
I think a rugged phone's a good thing.
Yes. Ruggedize all the phones, please. I want a
Yeah.
phone that doesn't break because I feel like a lot of people's phones break all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I need uh I need a phone for my children that they cannot break. And this is actually within a price range. I think that would work.
Yeah. Well,
But
there
they're
you
not
go.
getting a new phone. They're not getting a new phone. So
Meh. They got to deal.
suckers.
They got to deal with the broken
That's
phone.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
So Tesla, we're back in the Tesla news game. They announced their earnings report this past.
Crazy.
What?
Sorry. I was like crazy.
Okay. Okay.
I was just yelling out words.
I
They
appreciate
made a
that.
lot of money.
Yeah. So they had a profit of $1.1 billion, which is their
In the
highest
second
profit
quarter.
ever. Yeah, which is their highest profit ever. So this is the first time they've ever made money that didn't require them to sell. What are the credits? Blanking. They're like environmental credits that they can sell to other
Regulatory
companies.
credits.
Yeah, regulatory credits, so they can essentially offset if you don't make cars that have a certain, I think, miles per gallon,
Right.
then then you get penalized. But then you have companies like Tesla who have all their cars meet the rating, so they have like a surplus of these credits that every, I think, manufacturer gets. So they'll sell these regulatory credits to other companies. But normally that has made up their whole profit. Like they essentially broke even without them, and they actually made $400 to $500 million with them. But this time they actually made like seven and a half. Sorry, not seven and a half. $750 million without the credits, which is huge for
That's
them.
crazy. Yeah.
So what's great about this is that they're finally turning a profit, which means they can actually be a successful car company at this point. Obviously, you look at their stock, and their stock's been insane for a long time with the potential of what they could, or what they could do. But this is starting to fulfill that potential, and it's a good sign to see them making profits so that they can be around for a long time, and
Right.
that your car that you bought isn't gonna be useless at some point. So I think it's just a great thing to see an American car company succeeding, the first one to do it in like 100 years,
Yeah.
and to finally be making a profit. So hopefully we'll get some more American car companies pretty soon, like Rivian. I'm looking forward to seeing Rivian release their vehicles. I think they pushed back their release date to like September, but the more the better, and just another American success story.
Now, which model do you have?
I have the 3.
The Model 3.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, so only 7% of Model 3s and Ys, which Model Y is a crossover, is that right? Were leased. Like, how do you lease that?
They have a leasing option on their website.
Do they?
Yeah.
Like, I just seems like it would be tough to get a lease because I guess I don't know. They make a lot of money on a lease, I would assume. But
Yeah.
do you? I doubt it. But do you pay for the $199 a month driving assistant feature?
No. At this point, I think I've said this before. I would not pay for their full self-driving feature. It's not ready. It's dangerous if you're not paying attention. And you should not pay the money unless you're the only people at this point who are paying for this are Tesla fanboys.
Right. Right.
And fangirls. I don't want to leave anybody out, but there's nobody in their right mind who's paying for this, and they're getting what they're paying for.
Like, if I'm gonna pay for it, like I don't want to pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Drive me where I need to go. I don't want to pay attention. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, why am I paying $200 a month for something that doesn't do everything that you're saying it's supposed to do? Like, nah,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well,
I could go buy a cheap car for that.
Yeah.
Like, no thanks.
I would like to watch a Netflix.
Oh, I lost Jeremiah. But he's talking about watching a Netflix movie while he is. I lost you there for a second. You were talking
My
about
internet.
watching a Netflix movie while riding in your car.
Yeah, why not? I don't need to be driving.
Exactly.
If I'm going
So
to pay $200 a month, I need to be catching up on. Actually, I'm watching Doctor Who again, so I
there
should
you
be
go.
watching episodes of Doctor Who instead of driving.
They actually just added. I don't have the update yet, but they just added Disney Plus as another option in the in-car dash. So
Ooh.
you can watch all sorts of stuff while you charge your car. Someday, I'm sure you'll be able to watch it while you drive. Who knows?
I hope not while you're driving. Like,
Well, the
while you're
car
driving.
drives. Well, the car drives
There you,
itself.
there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So going back to phones, we got an
Yes.
article here about the Galaxy Z Fold 3.
Which is coming out soon.
Yes. Ooh, it has an S Pen slot.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know. It's a case. Is that just a case or is that the phone?
it's literally the case. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna. Oh, it's okay. Oh, that's why it looks so slick.
Yeah, so this whole article is really about the case, and the fact that
Yeah,
they're including a dedicated S Pen, which is just a stylus um, slot on the case, which to me means that they're going to have S Pen support for this Z Fold 3, which is the one that folds like a book, which makes a ton of sense. Like why wouldn't you give people an option to be able to use it like a tablet to some extent to where you can take notes and do other things with it, which such a large screen.
obviously I didn't read the article because I just looked at the pictures, but it looks like the case looks
Yeah,
nice.
it looks pretty
Like
nice.
it makes it almost look like a almost like a small journal type because it's got the pin in the back.
Yeah, it does. It kind of does look like a folio case, if you will.
Yeah,
My only fear with this, I mean, in the last two versions of this phone, the screen hasn't been that robust.
right.
Like in the very first version, you could literally scratch it by doing anything. Um, uh, and you could get like things, dust and sand and other things underneath the glass or the screen. Yeah, I don't even know if there was glass in the first version. It was just like a plastic. The second version, I think, had a like screen protector on there that helped prevent it from scratching. This version is supposedly going to have a very thin layer of glass. I think that's the only way this stylus works. If
Oh
you
yeah,
didn't, it would start to look like you ever play with those. They would put like this like liquid behind like a silicone or a plastic sheet where you could like draw your name and stuff in the liquid that was colored with like a little pin. I feel like that's
right,
what
right.
this would look like after a while, where you would just see like the crease from your where you wrote your name and stuff on there. It would look real bad. So I'm assuming they're gonna have glass on the next Galaxy Z Fold. So
Or like those old school. Remember, it was like you would lift the film up and it would like
that's
erase
yeah,
everything. And it
yeah,
wasn't. It was like gray,
yeah,
but eventually that top layer of plastic, whatever, you could see what you had done.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I know what you're saying. I got you. I never had a colored one.
Maybe I'm
Man,
making it up. I
I
don't know.
don't know. It sounds cool.
Maybe that's a more recent thing that my kids have played with. I don't know.
Could
I know
be.
what you're talking about though, but yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about. Where it's
Right.
eventually it would just be etched into the plastic. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's not what's going to happen here, and they are going to keep that from happening.
Cool. Cool. Well, let's keep moving and let's talk about this modular laptop.
Yeah. So this is kind of cool. So in the same form factor that you would get like a Dell XPS 13, which if you're wondering, that's probably my choice to recommend to people. If you want a laptop, get the Dell XPS 13 or 15 or whatever screen size you want. Just because I think it's probably the best Windows laptop out there. But what's cool about this laptop is that it's modular. You can literally, that's from Parks and Rec, by the way. You can literally buy this computer unassembled if you want to and put it together down to the motherboard. Like they'll just send you all the parts and you can put it together. That's how modular this laptop is, which the motherboard is just a small, I think it's like 8 inches wide by like 4 inches tall, or maybe even less than that.
Mm-hmm.
So you slot that thing in, put in your Wi-Fi module, put in your memory, your hard drive, all that stuff. Which, for someone like me, I build my own computers anyways, it's kind of nice to have that modularity to where you can essentially swap parts out really easily, because laptops are getting very hard to do that sort of thing with.
Yes.
I think Apple started the trend where it's like things are soldered down to the motherboard. You cannot change like anything on an Apple computer, Apple laptop at this point.
Right.
It's literally a just e-waste at the point where it stops working for you. There's no way to repair it. They have to replace everything inside of this computer to fix it. It just seems like such a huge waste of
Oh yeah.
of electronics and resources that we have. So to be able to take a computer and just replace bits here and there is so much better for being able to repair a computer, keeping a computer going for as long as possible.
Yeah.
They even have it to where you can change the ports on the side of the laptop. So normally you get a laptop and it's like, okay, you got your USB-C, maybe you have an HDMI port, maybe you have a USB-A port, which is a regular USB port, a
If you're
headphone
lucky.
jack. What's that?
I said, if you're lucky, you get these ports.
Yeah, if you're lucky, you get those ports. I think more laptop manufacturers are coming back to it. Apple's not, but
Right.
Windows laptops, you usually get all those ports. Except for like the Dell XPS 13. I don't think you get those ports in that. But um, this one, you can literally change out all of those ports on your laptop. If you want 4 USB-C ports, you can have 4 USB-C ports. If you want 3 HDMI ports, you can have 3 HDMI ports. Like you can put whatever that they sell, obviously, and whatever someone else can make. That's what's kind of cool about this too. It's like I think you're going to see people like 3D print their own parts for this to be able to attach different things on there, because it essentially is just a USB-C connection on the inside,
Right.
and then it converts it to a different port on the outside. So the possibilities are endless on what you can do on this. I bet you could probably do like an Ethernet port. So if you want to hardwire your laptop, you could do that. You can add in extra storage that way as well. So to me, the thing that's the most interesting is that you can repair this laptop. You can change things out. It's kind of dying away, which is to me sad for many reasons. I think we end up with a lot of e-waste, a lot of electronics that end up in the trash, really just in the trash. They're not even being recycled.
Right.
And so those materials just sit there forever and ever, never to be used again. But being able to switch these out kind of takes that and flips it, and it's like, okay, well, let's just switch out that little part that doesn't work, and let's keep this laptop going for as long as we can. There's no reason to throw it away yet. I think you can even
Exactly.
they're gonna have like the motherboard you can upgrade later on. So that if it's a new company, the company's called Framework. Um, all the reviews I've seen on this laptop, it's not a perfect laptop, but it's right up there with the Dell XPS, which, like I said, is kind of my gold standard for laptops. The only thing that is a downgrade from this laptop, from a Dell XPS to this laptop, is like the battery life.
Battery life. Yeah, I was going to say the battery life.
It's not as good
Yet.
And like I said, this is a new company, but I would highly recommend, if you're looking for a new laptop, to consider this computer. Like, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to the planet to to make this an option for you, and support this company. Let's keep them going. Like, I think they have a great idea here. And it'd be nice to see them continue to iterate upon this and make it better every single year. And I see them supporting all these computers for a long time, and being able to upgrade your computer and not just toss it out and buy a new one. So I think that's a really compelling thing for a laptop maker. Do you have any input on the laptop, Jeremiah?
It actually looks like a pretty good little machine. I'm on their website right now looking at the cost, and it's not that bad.
No, it really isn't. So, and what's also interesting, so the price is very comparable to anything else you're gonna find out there. It is also about the same thickness as the Dell XPS series.
Yeah.
It's a taller aspect ratio, so it's not the widescreen that you would normally get on like a Dell XPS or a lot of laptops. It's got a taller aspect ratio, so it's better for reading content and doing spreadsheets and getting more vertically on the screen. So if you're looking for, the flexibility in your laptop screen, I think I actually like the taller aspect ratio, not the wider one. I just think you honestly can get more on a page this way. The wider aspect ratios are great for watching like movies and TV shows and things like that, but this is better for so many other things. The keyboard, actually, I think you can swap out the keyboard and have a different keyboard. They have different options for that. The bezel, they have different options for the bezel. It's a really big trackpad, which is nice. Kind of looks a little bit like a MacBook Pro on the inside. It looks like an XPS, in my opinion, on the outside, just different logo. But this is if you're watching on YouTube, this is what the inside looks like. It has QR codes for everything, so you can scan it with your phone, and it tells you, hey, this is what you need to buy. If you want to change something out, this is how you do it. There's so much information here. It even has a little thing on here inside the laptop that's essentially like jobs. Hey, come join us at framework.com, not framework.com, but jobs.frame.work. And they've got a list of all the employees that worked on this laptop, which I think is kind of cool. But yeah, QR codes for everything, so you can scan it, get instructions on how to replace it, repair it, whatever. What part you need to buy if you want to change it out. Super cool. Great way to make it a lot more consumer friendly, to make these changes yourself. It even adds extra screws in here, which if you've ever worked on a laptop, every once in a while you might lose a screw.
Oh yes,
so for them to have, for them to have some spare ones is super nice. But yeah, these are the little modules that you can swap out on the side, the different ports. Once again, if you have to be watching this on YouTube, sorry for those who are listening. But then you have like hard drives you can add to this on those expansion cards, which is super awesome to be able to add space to your laptop, which most of the times you can't really do. So that's kind of a bonus in my opinion. What's interesting about this is it ties into our main topic, which is the right to repair. I kind of did that on purpose. So iFixit is a big company that I like to use a lot. So if someone asked me to repair something, or I actually repaired one of our iPads recently, um, I literally went to iFixit, searched for how to fix an iPad, uh, and they're like, "Here's a kit to do it with the screen and all the tools that you need." And I'm like, oh, "Score! Like this, you could not have made this any simpler." And then all the instructions are on their website. Um, So technically, that is illegal, or it has been illegal, to repair your own equipment. They force you to, like Apple, for instance, and they're not the only ones guilty of this. They force you to go to their specific store so that you can get
Right.
this thing repaired, and nobody else has the same tools that Apple has to repair their phones or laptops or iPads or what have you. Um, Even like the headphones, the AirPods are impossible to repair. They were designed to where you cannot repair them. They are essentially
I didn't even
garbage if they stop working.
I didn't know that this was an issue. I mean, I knew that these things were like you couldn't repair them yourself, but I didn't know like this was like a real issue, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, so there, I mean, this has been a uh, kind of a vocal minority, and vocal not to like the general public per se, but to politicians, because telling general public about this doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
You really have to go straight to the politicians to be like, hey, why do I have to go and pay a ton of money to this special company to fix my device that I want to fix? Um, why can't I just do it myself, or have a shop nearby fix this device? Um, and this goes beyond phones and small electronics. But that's what I'm going to
Actually,
talk about
cars
first.
as well.
Yeah, cars. John Deere is a huge problem. Farmers are actually having to hack their John Deere tractors and whatnot. Um, but iFixit does a really good job, and I'm sharing my screen. So if you're on YouTube, this kind of gives you an idea of they kind of break it down really well. Fix your own things or choose which service shop to use.
Mhm.
Manuals and diagnostic tools that the dealer uses. So a lot of times the dealer, like an Apple, or I'm using Apple, and they're not the only example. I feel
Right,
like
right.
there are a lot of other companies out there, but they're an easy one to pick on. But their diagnostic tools and manuals that they have are quote unquote proprietary technology, and so they don't have to share that with people, which makes it sort of a trial and error of how having to figure out how to fix certain things. Um, and then being able to essentially do whatever you want with the phone. So unlock it or jailbreak it. So you can change the software on it if you want to. These are all things that are, um, I guess they're not illegal anymore, but for a long time they were illegal to do. And the government's finally starting to step in and be like, hey, this is not okay. Like
Right.
these people bought these things, they should be able to do what they want with these devices. It's like, would you buy a car if it was illegal to replace the tires? Like things like that. Like same thing with the laptop that I'm talking about. Like, should it be illegal for me to change out parts that I want to in this laptop? It shouldn't. I mean, it shouldn't be illegal. I
Yeah.
paid for it. Um, so manufacturers shutting down independent repair shops, making it impossible um, to not go to anybody but the main manufacturer, which is a huge pain. Sometimes you can't make it to those. Maybe you live in rural America where they don't have an Apple store and you have no
Right.
way to get to them. Like maybe there's a small repair shop that used to be in that town that was fixing everybody's devices, but they got put out of business because you know they weren't allowed to repair things. They got sued to where they weren't allowed to repair those devices anymore.
Mhm.
Um, it should it should be easy to repair your own device. Um, and so the FTC actually voted unanimously recently to enforce the right to repair. So they're just falling back on laws that have already existed right now. They're not expanding anything at the moment, but they are enforcing the laws that are in place to allow people to repair their own gadgets or um, farm equipment.
Well, and I think now it's so easy to do it yourself. You can go to a website, you can go to YouTube and watch someone do it, and you should be able to do it yourself. I mean, if you're mechanically inclined or even just a little bit of knowledge, you can learn how to fix it yourself.
Yeah, the problem with a lot of it is, like I said, the manuals or the diagnostic tools to fix these, whether it's a phone or a tractor, um, they're just not available. And so you end up having to do a lot of trial and error if you really want to fix something, which, in the long run, if you're a farmer having to fix their tractor, like you don't have time to like trial and error and fix this tractor for like weeks on end.
Well, but you also don't have time to take it down somewhere and wait for it to be repaired.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, no. So they're arguing that they would prefer to have like a mechanic that they could just take their tractor to that's in
Right.
town and have them be able to fix it. But John Deere and other companies are forcing their hand, and they're not allowing them to do that sort of thing. What so beyond this, and I want to get more into the John Deere thing here in a minute, just because I feel like it's a very interesting uh, case. But beyond that, I feel like in small electronics, especially laptops, phones, they should be designed in a way that makes them repairable, like this framework laptop. Um, it to me, it should be illegal to make it to where you cannot repair or replace the laptop or phone or parts of those devices um, because of the way the phone was designed. I I just feel like it needs to take it to like the next step where it's like, okay, let's make it to where we don't just enforce the laws like, hey, you can repair your own stuff, but like let's take it to the next step where you are enforcing a policy of if your device is not repairable or some sort of fine or whatever, but it should everything should be repairable in my opinion. Like let's stop throwing away so much electronic stuff. Uh, there's just so much that ends up in a landfill somewhere. Just make it to where we can fix what we want to fix, like, or send it to someone who can fix it without me having to pay an arm and a leg to do it. Um, I know a lot of times people have a warranty with Apple or whatever they're paying so much money for, but then it's like, well, that's actually going to cost you an extra $250 to repair on top of the warranty that you bought.
Right.
And it's like, whoa, like this is halfway to a new iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why am I paying for all this stuff if it's going to cost me so much more extra anyways? So being able to send it to like a local repair shop where they, maybe they're charging half of that amount, um, just because they don't have to price gouge you like Apple would.
Right.
I think that would be a nice change of pace as well. So what's I'm going to get into the John Deere thing now. So farmers literally are having to hack their own tractors to repair their tractors. So John Deere has made it to where you can't get access to the diagnostic software. You can't get access to the manuals to work on your own tractor. Um, so tractors are turning to hacked software from Eastern Europe uh, so that they can repair their own tractors. How bizarre is that? That we've gotten to a point where a farmer is having to be tech savvy enough to hack a tractor so they can fix it. Like how far have we gone to where it's like you can't just change a couple parts to fix your tractor?
I just it's terrible. It's terrible. I don't get it. I mean, a tractor is they use it every day, and they're providing a service or a good, I guess in this case, in the service. But I mean, they're trying just to make a living by providing food or whatever they're farming.
Yeah.
For everybody, and then they're having to resort to these other
other
ways,
means. Yeah.
other means, yeah, just to keep working.
It's so bizarre to me that it's gotten to that point where you can't just work on something. You can't.
Yeah.
It used to be if you're good with your hands and you can, figure stuff out, you could fix your tractor. That's not really the case anymore. Now you've got to find someone that's technical, someone who can load different software on the tractor, just so you can then calibrate it and do all these other things that are now required to make a John Deere tractor run.
The pirated tractor firmware still goes through a black market of paid invite-only forums.
Yeah. How insane is that?
Coming from Eastern Europe.
Tractor owners having to get into the black market just so they can use their tractor. Wow. I mean, here's the deal. You have companies like John Deere who are essentially, they're locking their tractors down to the point where you have to use them to fix the tractor.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing needs to stop. Like, these guys don't need to pay the exorbitant amount that John Deere is going to charge them to fix it. They just need to be able to work on their own stuff on their own, or have, the mechanic down the street be able to fix the tractor. Like, it's so bizarre to me that this is even an issue.
Yeah.
But it's what they deal with on a day-to-day basis. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over, but it kind of blows my mind.
But it is. It's mind blowing. Like I said, I didn't even realize this was really an issue.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm kind of almost speechless.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's become a worse problem over time. Obviously, it didn't start out where it's like, you can't do anything to this. It's just slowly where they're locking little pieces of the tractor down, because they have different firmware, different software on different pieces of hardware in the tractor. So maybe like the drivetrain is like one specific piece of software. And I don't drive tractors, and I'm not a farmer, so I don't know all the different pieces of a tractor. But this section is one piece of software. This other section is a different piece of software. And this other third section is a different piece of software. You've got to like know how to get into all these different pieces to fix the one piece that you need to fix, and then it has to recalibrate. And it's like, oh my God, like, it's ridiculous what they have to go through. At the end of the day, here's my point with this whole thing. We as consumers need to be able to use our devices in the way that we want to use them. We shouldn't be told by the maker of the device, hey, now that you've paid us this much money, continue paying us money until you want to buy a different device, or you want to buy a different thing. We should be able to use them until we don't want to use them anymore, and we should be able to use them however we want to use them, and we should be able to fix them however we want to fix them. And nobody should be able to tell us, hey, you have to do it this specific way, or hey, we're not going to give you the information you need so that you can fix it. Let's just make it to where it's easier for everybody to use their devices the way they want to use them.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, the amount of people that are in this world now, I mean, you're always going to have those that want to fix things themselves, or those that take it too. And then you have then you have a little bit bigger section that's going to take it to a local repairman. But I think the market is still there that people want to take it back to where they bought it from.
Oh, sure.
There are people that don't trust the cell phone businesses, which for whatever reason, whatever. But I think there's a big enough market for all of us to still be involved, whether we want it repaired or repair it ourselves. So I don't think they're going to lose money.
Well, they may lose a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, they're making billions and billions of dollars anyways. Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's just about greed, which at the end of the day, I feel like is a lot of things in our society. It is about greed.
Yeah.
It's not about what's best for the consumer. It's just about what's best for our shareholders, what's best for our bottom line, and what's best for the CEO's bonus.
Yep. That we're seeing a lot of that nowadays.
Unfortunately. That's all I've got, Jeremiah.
Hey, well, that was a good show. And again, share us with your friends. Tell them that you're watching us on YouTube, that you've seen us on Facebook, that you're listening on a podcast. Let everybody know that you are a part of GON. And hopefully we can get some t-shirts out eventually. I would love that. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. And we hope to see you next week.
Ta-ta.